Hi, let's start the session. So thank you so much for joining us today. This is Wording You times, I don't know how to say this in English, but we are featuring mission-driven organizations from around the world and also, of course, Japan every couple of months to kind of listen to what they do and then what they're aiming to, and then how they're changing the society, and then later upload the video recording on YouTube, and then spread the article. So today we are welcoming Tomáš Halász. Is that how I pronounce your name, Tomáš?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, from Slovakia, and then he's a founder of a enterprise called TrollWall AI, and then we are very looking forward to listening to Tomáš's story.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So at Wording You, we're bringing people together from all walks of life to make a better world. And then we are especially focusing on cultivating leaders, communities, and organizations across boundaries, meaning different countries or sectors or organizations to better the society. And then this session series, this interview series, is one of our kind of a core focus of bringing the knowledge and then wisdom from the world. So I'm going to introduce our speaker today. His name is Tomáš Halász, co-founder and CEO of TrollWall AI. And then we're going to learn more about what he does later in this interview session. But how we decided to welcome Tomáš in this session is so Wording You, there is this social innovation award called World Summit Award, and then Wording You is the country expert of Japan from Japan for WSA over the past I guess 8 years, and WSA is a global social innovation award, and then every year they nominate and then select impactful innovation, digital technology innovation in particular to better the world. And then Tomáš and then TrollWall AI is one of the winners of this year's WSA. So we're happy to hear what they're doing and then how they're addressing the content moderation using AI, and how we can learn from him and then TrollWall for Japan's market. So thank you so much, Tomáš, for joining today.
Thank you for having me again, and it's my pleasure.
Great. So I can start asking questions to Tomáš, and then if any of the participants or our Wording You team members have any questions, you can ask through chats or later in the session. So I think my first question is, okay. So can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Tomáš, can you first explain what you do and how you started TrollWall?
Great. So the whole story started when I was working as a social media manager. I worked as and one of my duties was to take care about content, but also take care about the community. So replying to the messages, replying to the comments, and also removing hateful comments. And I work with a lot of NGOs and also with political entities. We got a lot of hateful comments. So like not people just criticizing. I don't, and my clients didn't mind criticism, but they mind when somebody was writing something very toxic, swear words, profanity, hate speech, insults to violence, and something like that. And these kind of comments, to our policy was that we are making safe space for our community, so we were removing this kind of comments. And just to give you idea what kind of scale we are speaking, and together at some point also with team of volunteers was managing around 800 to 1,000 comments a day, from which 300, maybe 400 were hateful. So a lot of reading, a lot of a lot of really not nice things you want to read in the morning or during the day. And it got even worse after the Russian invasion to Ukraine in 2022. And it just skyrocketed because also I was helping and I was co-founding initiative helping Ukrainian refugees fleeing to Slovakia because we are next to the Ukraine. And just at some point, I just had enough, and I just said that this is not the way forward. It was too demanding time-wise, but also it was really bad for mental health for me and my team. So I called my friends, senior IT experts who I knew for years, who've been working on some volunteer projects before, and I called them as a non-technical person. I said it cannot be so hard, just code something, because we are searching first on the market if there's something which moderate the kind of comments and also give full control to the social media manager. And what was really important for me, it was that understand the local context, the local languages. Because there are some solutions which are usually English-based or maybe Spanish-based and German-based, but then they support other languages, maybe like Japanese, just to translation. And I'm sure you understand that just translating something from English to Japanese and backwards doesn't get you the feeling of local context, how people are swearing, how people are writing. There are a lot of cultural nuances. So I called my friends and I said, okay, so just code something, in 1-2 months you have it. It cannot be so hard. And as they really liked me, obviously, they didn't say to me that it is not so easy. They started coding and then we started working on that. And eventually, step by step, it started to be a proper product working. And when I saw that it working for me, in my case, I was like, okay, so let's call my friends from other NGOs, from the news media, from other political campaigns, if they want to try it out without any financial benefit, to be honest. And again, they saw it, they saw the value. They give us some feedback to improve the product, to improve the application. And when eventually we got asked if we want to send an invoice, because this should be a paid service, so we started a company. Honestly, we didn't have a big plans to make a startup. We all were quite senior in our position. We were quite happy with our jobs. But once we started the company and we started going public, we got also demand from the companies, from the brands, from the PR agencies. We started working with the president at that time, Zuzana Čaputová, our prime president. We worked with and still work with Czech president. So eventually it started to be so much work that we saw that there is a demand and we got investment as a startup and started working on this startup base. So it all started from my need, but also from that I wanted to help other social media managers with this problem, because we know that this problem is common and it's common in many countries. So step by step we start adding languages. And what is our specialty, excluding that we are normally officially registered application by Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We train our own AI model for hate detection. And we train it with local linguistic experts for each language separately, because we understand that the people are the toxic language, the profanity, and the hate speech is different in each country, and it's really culturally based, and it's also it's also changed during the times. So we use at least 3, usually 4 linguistic experts, which they annotate, they label the data from real world. And on top of that, that goes to AI, so it trains on this. So there is no proper bias from one person, and also it's really connected to the local people, how they speak, how they understand it. Because as a Slovak, I cannot annotate, even to translation, I cannot annotate Japanese or even Polish, if it's something really similar. Yeah. So that's why it takes quite a while maybe to develop a language. But now we are supporting 9 languages, and we have clients all over Europe.
That's great. What are those 9 languages? It's Slovak and then...
We started with Slovak, Czech, Polish, Romanian, German. Where it was interesting because we find out that even Eastern Germans have different profanity words than Western Germans because we have like really huge diversity in the team. English, and we have 3 versions of Spanish because we also have users in Latin America. So we have a Mexican Spanish, Argentinian Spanish, and mainland European Spanish. Because again, there's a differences in the world. And upcoming are French, Portuguese, Dutch, and another 2 languages are coming this year.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you have so at the time you launched this service, like back in to
22.
after 22, there was no like a similar service providers like yours?
No, we couldn't find anything which would understand our languages. Honestly, we were first focusing on Slavic languages here in Central Europe.
Yeah.
And nothing understood our languages. Definitely with the accuracy we were expecting and with the control. There were some services which use human to moderate, but we see that was not a way forward because then you are depending on the quality of the human, and it can vary. Even when I was moderating, that was very. So we were quite unique. Of course, in English there are some other services, but we are quite happy to also get the clients in English-speaking countries.
I see. Great. And do you now in 2025, do you see similar like services around you in those languages, or not a lot?
Not really in our languages. We see different in other countries, in France or in England and in US. I haven't seen in our similar, but also our product, of course, get much better. And we improve the quality of our models. We also have more settings because the sensitivity of some clients is bigger than on others. And where we also moved to TrollWall is that at the beginning we were only moderating. So you as you had a Facebook page as a World in you, or as some brand, or as some political entity, whatever, church, NGO, and you get the comments, and if they were really toxic, TrollWall detected and hide it, and that was it. It was really helpful, but that was the basic functionality. But now our application also helps with the other comments, which are not toxic. So it evaluates the sentiment analysis. So it decides if this comment is negative, positive sentiment, or neutral. It also reads the comments and decides recommend action. So if you are a social media manager and have a lot of work there, this helps you to boost your productivity. So it read the comments and said, like, if somebody writes to you as a word in you that, oh, that was a great interview, thank you, Mio, our AI will recommend to like this comment and also reply to this comment. And with replying to this comment, it also draft the answer for you. There's something like GPT, like inside. It draft the answer for you, but with your tone of voice, but doesn't post it. We are believing that AI is here to help you, to draft for you. It's like autocorrect, but doesn't write automatically, because we still believe that there should be human involved with replying to the followers, because this is how you build the touch with your community.
So it's a little bit different from the bot, the replying part. The bot,
yes.
like yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, and we don't want to build the bots.
Got it. So in general, of course, you started from responding to managing hateful comments, but then you kind of grow into more like how you can encourage healthy, viable online community, and then kind of adding the functions to that vision.
Exactly. Because also when I was working as a social media manager, I got a lot of specific questions from the followers. You just needed to find the answer either in some document or some website or something, and you need to draft. And unfortunately, the time is limited. So if I had too many questions, I could reply just some of them because it was just so time consuming. Now, with the help of AI, we are also boosting the positive engagement. So we are boosting and we are replying to messages which before we wouldn't have a time. And our clients, we appreciate that. And I think this is generally how we should approach social media, because there's a lot of hate on the social media. There's a lot of negativity, and unfortunately, by how psychologically we are set up as a human being, we are more focusing on the negative and on the danger and also hate, because how the psychology works. And then to the algorithms of social media, this is boosted. So we feel that it's only or mainly hate or mainly something negative. So we are trying to also teach our clients to, okay, don't forget about this positive engagement you have. And it takes some time and it takes some work with your community. But eventually, what we also have feedback from our clients is that after long-term moderation, they see the impact, that quality of the discussion get better. Like still can get heated. Like people still don't need to agree. We work a lot with the news media, and whatever is close to politics or to world news, get heated discussion. But at least it's cutting out the extremes, when people are really properly hating each other for the opinions. And like we are cutting that out. These comments are moderated. It doesn't matter on which side of the debate they are, like whatever. They are moderated. They are not seen. They are seen maybe just by few people by the design, but they are not seen by the general public. And the general public then can discuss the opinions. And this is also what studies should suggest, that unmoderated discussions are less democratic, because generally speaking, minorities and women are less keen to join the discussion, which is toxic and hated, because they feel more attacked. So when you are moderating discussion and make the safe space for your community, and you can decide who is part of your community and what are your rules, you're making more welcoming for the people. And we work with a lot of NGOs which are attacked by people who will be never supporting this NGO at all, who are like, saying really, really bad things. Like I don't want to quote, but it goes up to totally illegal threats. And these kind of things we want to moderate automatically. And if needed, we also work with the local police enforcement. If the client wants, we give them the logs. They're like, okay, these are people who will write something like, I'm coming to get you. I have a bullet for you, and these kind of cases. Yeah. So and just to speak about the scale, we are still starting startup. We are not a huge corporation, but we already checked more than 40 million comments, and we removed more than 10 million comments, which were this kind of toxic. So we see that impact in the long term. And what makes me really proud that at some point the users started to tag TrollWall in discussions which were not moderated, and demanding the news media or demanding some clients like, oh, you should moderate here because this is not what I want to read on my Facebook or my social media feed. And you as a brand have a responsibility to moderate. So, and I don't know how is the discussion in Japan, but at least in Central Europe, it was maybe 7-8 years ago. Moderation was look at something against free speech, but to the discussions and to the situation, how they changed, how involved, and how the polarization got much worse. We see more demand from the public, and there are like studies and polls suggesting that it's going to whole Europe, that people are demanding moderation. People are demanding to remove the hateful, the toxic parts of the social media content.
I see. It's very important. Thank you for sharing. I think I have many questions, but it's say the moderation thing a little bit later. But I think to take a step back, we would love to learn what are your who are your major clients. You mentioned a little, but who are your major clients, and then what kind of a community or what kind of community members are there? Is it like a very much publicly open, like institutions or NGOs Facebook group page, or is it more like semi-closed social media kind of community?
We are working mostly on the public space. So public Facebook pages, Instagram profiles, YouTube channels, and TikToks. And we have different kind of clients, but I would say we work with 4 head of states, so the presidents. We work with some ministries, law enforcement, armed forces, and because mostly here in Central Europe, if we are working with the NATO states, so whenever they communicate their support for Ukraine, they get a lot of hate comments. Some of them from real people, some of them from Russian bots from St. Petersburg. So this is also part of the defense against that. Secondly, we work with the news media, so media publishers, TV stations, and so on, because from our data shows that they are usually the most engaged on the social media because people are more engaged with the politics and also the algorithms are working like that. Then we work with the sports clubs, which is interesting vertical, very interesting industry for us. Thankfully, there are more and more sports clubs which understand that that discussion about sports should be heated, can be heated, with emotions, but it shouldn't be hateful. Hate is not opinion. So if somebody writes like, "Oh, we lost this match because of this referee," this is still fine, as far as it doesn't write something really nasty and toxic about the referees. So we work with the major football clubs. We work with the International Federation of Ice Hockey to their championships. And they actually just recently had a call with them. They actually have a whole program how to support their referees and their sports hockey players during the championship, so they don't get attacked, or they get attacked, but they don't see the attacks on the social media, which can then be really bad for their performance and of course for their psychological well-being. Then we work with also political parties. We work also with NGOs, and with a lot of NGOs, we are supporting the small ones. We are totally supporting for free. More than 50 NGOs maybe at this point. So that's quite viable. But also from the commercial point of view, we work with large brands like O2, telecom, insurance, banks, PR agencies, and so on, because I honestly was surprised as well how much hate they got, and not because of their product, but maybe because of generally the industry. Like we have one client, which is a utility company. They are selling energy, and they have a program of supporting solar energy. It's totally normal topic for me, but I was surprised how much hate they got, and really like huge profanity, huge hate from people who are like totally fell down the conspiracy rabbit hole, and they are attacking them on social media with really nasty. It's not about criticizing that your product is bad, or I don't know, my electricity was not working. That's fine, but this was like really like hate. So we are work also with clients like this.
I see. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. We have now clearer image of who you're helping out. I have a question about, so some people say, or some channels say, like content moderation is censorship, right? And then, so what's your view on difference between the censorship and then good moderation?
Yeah, that's a great question, and a totally valid question. I'm coming from post-communist country, so not even that I'm a bit younger, I still there was a fight for democracy and freedom of speech during the 90s in our part of the world. And I usually say this example. So imagine that you have a restaurant in the shopping mall. Yeah, you are the restaurant owner. If I come to your restaurant and start swearing on you, I will come to your clients and start swearing on them. I'm starting to write something, say something really nasty and toxic and against them, and make it louder. You will politely kick me out. That's moderation. But I can still go in the front of the shopping mall. I can still make a demonstration. I can still write my own newspapers because I have a freedom of speech. But if I would come to your restaurant and say something that I didn't like your meal and I got sick, and then you not just kick me out, but you get me in the jail, that's censorship. That's what we are not doing. So whoever writes something really toxic, nasty, they still can do that on their own wall, on their own feed media. They can make their own page. They can do the demonstration. They can do their own newspaper. Just in our space where we are moderating, so where we are moderating not on the platform level, but we are moderating just under the pages of our clients. So if our client, for example, NGO, LGBTQ NGO supporting, decide that under their social media profiles, nobody will write something really toxic and hateful against LGBTQ people. It's their decision, and we are supporting this for this moderation. But if somebody it was interesting. Once we had a client for in one country was Christian Democrats, and Christian Democrats were asking us. I will not be specific in which country, but it was in Europe, and they were asking us, okay, we are not supporting hate. We also don't like when somebody writes something really hateful against LGBTQ people. But our beliefs is that gay people shouldn't have a marriage because marriage should be between men and women. And they ask us because we are supporting LGBT organizations who are fighting for marriage between for gay people and LGBTQ people. And they were asking us, so will this moderate if somebody writes that marriage is between men and women? I said, first, let's test it because you can see that. And secondly, no, it will not, because that's a matter of opinion. I might not agree with your opinion, but I will fight for your right to have this opinion, as far as you don't write that we should kill all the people from this community. And this is unfortunately this is the level. We don't moderate opinions. We don't mind if you vote for this person or for that person, or if you're supporting this policy or that policy. Our AI is not trained on that. It's trained that if somebody writes really incentives to violence, if somebody writes sometimes dehumanizing, if somebody writes that refugees are not people but rats, if somebody writes Ukrainians are not people but sickness. These kind of things are not opinions, that are pure hate. And also by laws in Europe, this can get to the court because this is hate speech, this is dehumanization, this is like incentive to violence. So we are supporting freedom of speech for your opinions, but not for the hate, as hate is not opinion. And again, let me get back to these studies. Unmoderated discussions is hijacked by a loud minority of people who have a lot of time, a lot of hate in there, and they spread their message. A majority of people will not join the discussion, and definitely not the people from the minorities, either religious or sexual or whatever minority, and women. So it gets less and less democratic, the discussion, if it is not moderated. And we can see that on lot of, there is too many spaces on the internet which are not moderated, where you can see that it's just like rabbit hole of toxicity of couple of people saying something really, really nasty, while majority of people, and I guess majority of our viewers, would not join the discussion. And then it silences the other opinions because we don't want to get into this toxic discussion.
Right. Thank you. So there are people who prefer to be in that kind of bubble and then really like this unmoderated discussion where the unmoderated discussion goes and then through the rabbit hole. And then, so if you look at the word and then how you want to like better the word, I think my question is you mentioned that some people you see many people are requesting to certain space to be moderated. I think that's a positive move from your point of view and from my point of view as well. People kind of learned to have choice of moderated discussion space or unmoderated discussion space, and then they kind of show their voice to be in the moderated space. But there are people who want more like a unmoderated route. Do you have any like I don't know, hope, or I don't know, anything you want to see among those side of the world?
No, that's a good question. I think I generally see that the difference between now and a couple of years ago. Yeah, even people who were my friends were totally like moderation shouldn't be done because we should manage somehow everybody's opinion and so on. And this is the difference is that we saw how the unmoderated discussions are going. How much the polarization in the society, and it doesn't matter in which part of the political, and it's generally the polarization in the society.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of psychological processes behind. And one of them is that once we are in an online space, like if I met you in person, and if I talk to you in really toxic way, like use of profanity, I directly feel the pressure to behave in some way. I will directly see your feedback. I will directly feel the feedback of my surroundings.
Right.
And that's why we speak differently at home. We differently if we speak on the stage. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not going so often, but if people are going to the pub. So there's a social norm, how we can speak, what is normal. Yeah. But in online space, we don't have this feedback. We don't have this feedback loop. We are alone in the front of the screen and we feel more anonymized. So people who are saying something really, really like hateful online sometimes mostly wouldn't do that in person. And there is this psychological processes behind. And I generally feel we see that we tried with the social media for how many? 20 years to have it very, very small moderation compared to what at least in Europe we are suggesting that it should be moderated. We see that the social media are not doing the great job in this. They are doing a good job in moderation for like sexual content, for child pornography. That's very well moderated because there is a huge focus on that. On the hate speech, really, we work with Auschwitz Museum. We work with Auschwitz Museum in Europe, and they get so much hate that they need to use TrollWall, which is totally absurd for me. That on such a historically important event, which is momentum to the tragedy of 20th century, need in 21st century some external tool to be defended on the social media. So I think it's a step-by-step education, and also I think I see the switch in many people's opinion when they start to have children on social media. When their children grow up and are on the social media and start to be attacked. When their daughter sees something and gets really explicit sexual or hateful comments or messages, then they see, okay, but this is not okay. This shouldn't be done. This should be done. I said, like, yeah, but you're asking for moderation, which you didn't ask before. And honestly, it is thing like if you are a man in the majority, well educated, economically comfortable, you feel less threatened by any online hate. Yeah. So you feel less empathetic to the single mothers, to the women, to the people from the communities, refugees, foreigners, LGBTQ, whatever. You feel maybe less empathetic to their needs and how much hate they get because you cannot imagine it. I'm coming from the majority of white men in 40s, so I'm pretty fine. But I understand, but I know, and also from our data showing, like, for example, women who are running for the office, for the even local office or some member of parliament, while men are attacked for whatever they stand for, so their opinions, women are attacked because they even stand, because they even run. Like they should stay in the kitchen. They should, take care of their body. They get more sexual online attacks, and this is sometimes really hard to explain to people who never saw that on their skin. And once we saw them, like, yeah, but this kind of comments they get, this is like, because they think it's just something really, really minor, like, oh, I don't like you, or they like you. No, no, no. It can be so nasty that if I would quote it here on this stage, you will need to make a disclaimer in the front of the, like, take away your children. And unfortunately, when we are making presentation, it's for me sometimes hard to find something which I can quote because some things are so terrible that I don't really even want to read it.
Right.
So I see definitely the change, and honestly, even the biggest tech leaders who are saying that we should support just the freedom of speech are really, really, really shallow in what they define as freedom of speech, because it's freedom of speech of their freedom of speech, of them, their opinions and their attacks. But once they get attacked or somebody is against their opinions, they start to use moderation, or if they are aligned with some business needs. And there are business needs in some countries which are not democratic. Yes, and this is really worrying that in democratic countries, some technological leaders are criticizing moderation, while in undemocratic countries, they are just doing it because they know that the dictatorships will not discuss with them, they will just cut them out of their business. So we need to be very worried about not going on this, that we are freedom of speech versus moderation. No, moderation is part of freedom of speech because everybody will have freedom and safe space to say their opinions, but not their hate, because hate, again, is not opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with the moderation is part of the free speech. Yes, yes. Yeah, for the free speech to really work, every many point of views, yeah, good quality moderation needs to be done. Yeah. I have my next question is, so going back to I want to understand a little bit about the training part. So when you train the model, what kind of model you use? Is it kind of like a ChatGPT type of a basic like a model you use and then build on top of that, or understand that a bit?
It's a great question. For hate moderation, we use our own model based on open source NLP, natural language processing model classifier. So it's much smaller than GPT and much cheaper also to run. And it understands the languages. So it understands the grammar, the sentences, etc. It understands all the languages. And on top of that, what we are training it, we are showing it a huge amount of data, huge amount of comments. Well, like speaking of now maybe 500,000 already comments. And we show them like this, when somebody writes comment, I have a rat at home, so it's animal, it's okay. That's not hateful comments. If somebody writes that refugees are rats, it's part of dehumanization. It's part of one of the steps to the genocide. This is considered hate. If somebody writes, I am, I don't know, such a fool that I bought this washing machine, it's okay. But if you are such a XY, I wouldn't say exactly what kind of profanity, because you are voting for this guy or you are supporting this. This is hate, this is profanity. And we do this on large scale. And it's not done automatically. There's always human in the loop. So all of these comments are shown at least to 3, usually 4 independent linguistic experts who are trained to our guidelines to recognize what is hate, what is opinion, what is profanity. And each of the comments need to be labeled the same by at least 3 of those people. And if they don't agree, it doesn't go to the AI. So it doesn't go to the training. So we waste a lot of data, which are, sometimes they don't feel this is, they don't have the exact labeling. So we go only for the really where they all agreed, and this clean data goes to the training. So that's why our models are so accurate, and also that's why we understand the local context, because there are some sentences which doesn't make sense in English, but in my language it means that I want to kill you.
Yeah.
Because it's really local. I'm sure that in Japanese you have many of those really local context things which if you translate doesn't make sense. And once we have all this data, we put it to the AI. And there's a lot of technical training. We do also the test afterwards, like, okay, we have some test, like if everything goes fine, if it detects what it does. If the test fail, we train again. And we do this actually twice a month because we get all the time new data. Because we are also trying to catch some new swear words, some new sayings, which is happening. Honestly, a lot of things are coming from the far right, from the neo-Nazi part from the US. They are having new swear words like cryptic messages, and we are trying to, once it shows up too often, we are speaking with the linguistic experts. We are even contacting the country if needed, just to understand the context. Okay, so this means Heil Hitler in some cryptic message. we want to moderate this because if somebody writes this under our client, which is maybe NGO or maybe a Jewish organization, normal moderation by social platforms will not catch it at all, but our AI model will.
I see. Thank you. And then you use this trained model to all the customers. I mean, to all the customers in certain languages. Do you like customize a bit, or you use the same thing?
There's a slight customization then. It's mostly about profanity. To be honest, sports clubs don't mind so much profanity, like with small ones, like minor ones, they don't mind. But for example, banks, they mind. So it's just this tweaking. But regarding the hate, everybody wants to moderate the hate.
I
But
see.
yes, we do. We do the language model for each language separately, because we even find that some sayings in Mexican Spanish doesn't have any meaning in Spanish in Europe, but in Mexican is really something offensive and say something violent.
I see. I see. Yeah, thank you. So you in the particular language set, you tweak the strength of the kind of profanity or something else, but basically use the same like set of trained.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Do you have so I was thinking like do individuals, like you mentioned presidents and then those kind of not celebrities, politicians, I understand the importance of for them to use this kind of content moderation. I wonder because I interact with many like nonprofit leaders in Japan, and then some of them are working in, for example, LGBTQ issue area or gender equality area, and then they are they get attacked a lot, and then maybe they might want to use this kind of tool, moderation tool, to manage their individual Facebook page or X page or whatever. Do you have those kind of individuals, but not like a politicians or celebrities, but like a ordinary people as your users?
We work with like also not head of states. We work also with small NGOs like of 2 or 3 people or some like public figures, writers, influencers, and so on. As far as their Facebook page, it's not just a private profile, or they have an Instagram, which then can be made to be a business profile that we can moderate. And it's not because we don't want to do private profiles, but because of the limitation of social media platforms. Unfortunately, the limitation from them is that we can do moderation just on the business pages. We cannot do on your personal profile. Unfortunately, otherwise it makes sense business-wise, because then also they're afraid that we will moderate the advertisement. So unfortunately, we can do only on the pages.
Okay, got it. I see.
But what we suggest to cases like this, when you have a like public leader, and it can be like we director of NGO or some activist, to make these business pages free of charge, and then put a troll on that and communicate to the public like that, and the private profile to be more private, so be more locked, to be more like for family and so friends.
I see. Yeah. Thank you. I think if any like team members or participants have any questions, you can ask through chats or you can just speak out. But otherwise, I'm gonna keep asking questions. My next question is I would also like to understand your funders or like kind of business model. So who supports you financially, and how you're operating financially. You don't have to share everything, of course. Yeah.
No, that's a good question. Actually, by design, by choice, we didn't want to be an NGO because I'm coming from activism background, and I work with a lot of NGOs, and I think NGOs are really important part of the society, but I saw that there is a demand from the market and they should be marketed. So we don't take some money from the NGO sector, but we more like supporting the NGO sector. We are working on subscription base for our clients, so they pay monthly subscription. The price depends on the usage, on number of profiles, on how big the profile is. So it's starting from a couple of hundred or €100 to a couple of thousand, depending on how big maybe the company is and how many they have. And we also had, as a startup, we had an investor from Impact Fund, one impact investor. So we also have KPIs, but we are still mission driven. So while we are chasing the clients who actually pay the subscription and make us economically independent, because I think every impact oriented company should be financially independent. We also then on the side we can support NGOs who cannot afford our services, and we have a whole process for that. To some size of the NGO, we are supporting them with the service totally for free, as far as we support the language they need. So I'm happy to support. Again, I said maybe 50, maybe 60 NGOs in our region and even onto the Europe.
That's really great. Thank you. So I want to ask a little bit about the WSA. So you have been nominated to WSA. Is it Slovak as a country expert, I guess? And then
to Slovak country expert,
great.
yes.
And then you're chosen as one of the 40 global winners this year. And then so tell me like why you decided to kind of be nominated, and how was the experience going through the process?
I need to say that we actually you can maybe see here we won a couple of awards, but definitely WSA was totally different. It's a great community of really worldwide social entrepreneurs. We've been nominated by our Slovak expert, and then we went to some levels of jury, and then also we have a speaking from in the front of the jury on the committee to online. It was really interesting because you spoke with really experienced mission-driven people who have already worked in or started some companies or some NGOs or some organizations. And we were very honored to win, to be one of the winners. Then we have a final pitch also in India on the conference in front of I don't know how many hundreds of people from I think more than 90 countries. And we made a great network. We made great people. We actually still in touch and also helping us business-wise maybe to get to some countries and also to share experience. Honestly, how else I would meet a great entrepreneur from Guatemala, from Ghana, from Korea. It's not that easy to meet up and also to speak freely for a couple of days. So it was a great experience. I really recommend it to everybody. There's no cost. There's no hidden cost. The team is it's great. It's so helpful. They try to help startups and companies like us as much as possible, even after the event. So yeah, it was so heartwarming. I think in this age where with so many things are happening on the world stage and so much polarization in the society and so much us versus them. It was so great to meet people from more than 90 countries, I think more than nearly 200 people, and to speak like we are part of the one family from the world. Even somebody come from Central Europe like me, somebody from Africa, somebody from Asia, but we could exchange ideas. We could have fun. We could talk on the panels. I think it was life-changing. I think it was definitely highlight, maybe not even for this year, but maybe for a couple of years. And I'm definitely looking forward for next year. Congress will be in Vienna, so it's very close to my home. It's just like 1.5 hours. So I will definitely coming there, and I hope I will see somebody from Japan representing as well. And I really recommend. I cannot say more nice things about this organization. We recommend anybody who can join to apply, even if they are not, if they don't win. At least it's interesting to see who won. And again, I think it's with the same all the awards. It's not, if somebody doesn't win or is not nominated at the end, doesn't mean that the idea is bad or the company is bad. It means just maybe this time they chose somebody else. Maybe next time there were some companies who were nominated for before, but not and after first time they didn't win, or maybe next time, yes. So definitely would go for that, and definitely it's also great for networking purposes, for media purposes. And yeah, everybody please who listen to this and have some social entrepreneur startup, go fill up the form right away, talk to your national expert and apply.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I hope some Japanese winners might be able to, will be able to join the Austria next year. Great. I have a one question from the audience, so I'm going to just read it out loud. Congratulations to be the winner of WSA 2024. I agree, your voice hate comments, not opinions. And then I think it's very difficult to soundly moderate people's discussions, but it's very important in the world right now. So I hope your business is getting better and bigger. I also think it is necessary to educate people, especially kids, not to leave hate comments. Do you have any plans to work on that kind of education?
That's a great point. I totally agree that kids are the future, and also they are growing up with the social media, maybe even too soon in their age. We personally don't do education. I speak sometimes on behalf on the panels with NGOs who are doing that, and I think really I'm happy to support NGOs. It's usually NGOs or even some nationwide educators who are working, who are more experts. Honestly, I'm not so expert in education, so I wouldn't want to do something which is not so productive. But yeah, we support NGOs who are doing this, and we also recommend this to any parents. I was speaking just Saturday on the one festival here in Slovakia, and there was one of the questions like what to do with the children, social media and hate and so on. And I really think that they should, even before, I think the social media now is something like, you are giving them the bicycle or car. You don't want to give them bicycle or car and without learning them how to ride, how to drive, and you don't let them to drive first in the night alone. So step by step, teaching them how to and be engaged as a parent with them, as an educator, and step by step teach them about the good side and about the bad sides, and what also how to understand this world. And I'm sure that in Japan there are some NGOs and educators who are specializing in this, and there's a lot of psychology behind. So yes, I definitely think this is very, very important part of education.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, thank you for the great question. I think I have two more questions. One of them is about your future. Where do you see in 10 years or I don't know, 20 years from now? And then the second question is, do you have any message or you want to convey to a Japanese audience? You know, the Japanese language is like Slovak language, very limited within our country. So if you have any message or advice, yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you. How we see, honestly, 10 years ago, I wouldn't know there's some social media moderation, and that I would never say I will have a startup. So it's hard to predict the next 10 years. But we definitely see that changes happening in the social media. We think that the next part will be now the social media are becoming less social and more entertainment. So there's more videos and more we call it like quick bits content. So maybe even that led engagement. I see big danger in closed communities and usually mostly on the games. And we see also that the radical far right are radicalizing youth to gaming. So they are building the communities there, and step by step are, incentive them to join some small groups where they start to speak anti-Semitic or racist things. So we are also exploring how to moderate with the smaller games studios or bigger ones. And honestly, in 10 years, I think we will live in a totally different world. The AI, it can be great productivity gain, but first, any technology is first used for really bad things. So there will be first a lot of hate, a lot of disinformation, a lot of fake, a lot of spam, till we as a society learn how to work with it, and also when the social media or platforms will catch up. And what I think, where we also think in the long term, there will be needed some kind of guidelines or moderation for this kind of chatbots. We always see the cases where, as great as ChatGPT is, it's really hard to, because it's not deterministic, it's not exact. All these large language model, if you ask them the same question 5 times, you get different answer. So it's also harder to set the rules there. And we see that even the companies who are trying, it can be very tricky to make it safely. And the companies who are not trying, like X AI, they change something, and then it means that their chatbots start to writing anti-Semitic chats and thinking about Hitler and themselves. So we see that in long term there might be even bigger need to make another level of security for the chatbots, where many companies will use OpenAI or some other chats as a basic layer. And on top of it will be something like TrollWall to even safeguard it so it doesn't say something to the clients. Because LLM can be used for education purposes. It can help mostly kids with special needs, or even kids in the undeveloped countries, how to have a special tutor for their needs to give them better education. And that's really great use of AI. But it can be also then hijacked, that it will be step by step saying something which shouldn't say to the children, and on the large scale. And there will need to be a technical solution for that. So it's hard to predict. We are watching and we are exploring a lot of opportunities. But I think, unfortunately, for next at least 2-3 years, there's so much hate that we'll have way too many work anyway with already current product, which we are developing. And speaking about Japanese, firstly, I would love to go to Japan. Finally, I heard just the good things. Sorry, just the good things about Japan. I think with the AI now, the language limitations are not so huge as it used to be before. It's not that expensive. It's still expensive. It's still an important investment for us to make any new language. But it's possible. What we as a TrollWall need first is, of course, to have a first big client in the country, maybe some ministry, maybe some public figure, maybe some bigger NGO, some company, which will help us to get the feet in the door, to get to the moderation in Japanese, and then we can scale it, and then we can also start supporting smaller NGOs for free because we already have the model. So we don't have an exact plan for now, but thankfully to how we got much better in training our models, we can develop Japanese maybe in 2-3 months if there is a need, if there will be a business case for that. So if you anybody who is listening have any lead on that and want to contact me, I'm really happy to get in touch. And I'm really think that now we coming from the countries where the languages are not so widely used, we still can demand from the social media platforms, we can demand the same quality of the service like they are supporting for English or Spanish or maybe some other bigger languages. We are also people who are using social media, so we are also clients and users, so we also should get the same service. And I really think that with the discussions like this and with the public pressure, it get much better than it is now. everything will get better eventually if we fight for it. So I'm keeping fighting for it.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that addresses the last question we got from the audience and about starting services in Japan. And then especially we are in a political like a election campaign this month. So, and then this kind of a topic is very hot. So I hope you have a future clients in Japan someday, not in the near far away, but near in the near future. Thank you so much again for sharing your experience and what you do. We are very much we learn a lot, and we hope good moderation will keep changing the world in a better way. Thank you so much, Tomáš.
I hope so too, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.